Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40k universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about Space Marines as we get into the Chaplains. This was a viewer request, so if you guys have any requests for any topics that you guys want us to cover in a video, please comment down below. Don't forget to put suggestion followed by whatever topic that may be. And again, guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. Let's get into 40 Facts about the Chaplain. A chaplain is a specialized officer of the Adeptus Astartes and serves as the appointed spiritual leader of the Space Marine chapter. Chaplains are the warrior priests that minister to the spiritual well-beings of their fellow battle brothers, instilling in them the values and beliefs of the chapter, and promote the veneration, or in rare cases, the actual worship of the Emperor of mankind. In battle, chaplains are sinister and foreboding figures. The armor of a Space Marine chaplain is a daunting sight, adorned with icons of battle and death. Every aspect of a chaplain's garb serves as a reminder of morality's impermanent nature, and thus the significance of preserving the immortal soul. They often wear variant types of standard issue Mark 6, Mark 7, and even Mark 8 power armor. A chaplain can appear stylized and archaic in his power armor when compared to his fellow Astartes, which make him stand out and act as a focus for his brethren in battle. Some or all of the chaplain's power armor is usually painted in the traditional black. Chaplain novice usually wear standard Space Marine power armor. However, the helmets, right shoulder plates, and right arms of their armor are painted black rather than the chapter's formal colors. Once declared as a novice, the Space Marine's devotion needs no further advertisement. Chaplains also often wear or make use of one or more relics or pieces of war gear, which are worn or carried into battle. It is believed that something as trivial as a single gauntlet from the armor of a chapter hero passes on a little of the Primarch's fortitude and faith to the chaplain. A skull insignia usually adorns the right shoulder of a chaplain's power armor, and this is often displayed on both shoulder plates. A skull is a common symbol in the iconography of the Imperial cult, and it is used to represent the sacrifice of the Emperor in giving up his conscious life so that he might ascend to a new state of spiritual being in the Immaterium through the use of the Golden Throne. It is a symbol of his willingness to suffer to protect humanity from the evils of chaos, Xenos, and heretics. One of the most iconic elements of the chaplain's war gear is his skull helm, a stern visage that depicts the face of the Emperor Mordant, evoking the Emperor's wrath. These helmets may take many different forms and have been crafted by numerous Space Marine artificers across the galaxy. The chaplain's upper chest armor, or even the whole of the torso armor, may also be cast in the shape of a skull. Skull-shaped growing guards are also not unknown. An Astarte chaplain carries a deadly staff of office called the Crozius, which is used during chapter ceremonies. Many chaplains carry them into battle, a visible sign that battle is the highest ritual in the chapter's devotional calendar. The Crozius is usually adorned with the Imperial Aquila, or symbols that reinforce the chaplain's role, such as a winged skull or skulls. Some Crozius arcanums are shaped by the chapter's iconography, such as a smith's hammer or a dragon's head by the salamanders. Within the Crozius is a gravity generator that produces a powerful energy field capable of disrupting matter in the same manner as a power weapon. Chaplains are powerful warriors, and the blow struck with a Crozius arcanum can overwhelm nearly any defense. Chaplains are also often recipients of the treasured Rosarius, a symbolic gift from the ecclesiarchy to express spiritual unity in spite of deep differences in creed. This usually takes the form of an amulet worn around the neck. The Rosarius often bears the image of the Imperial Aquila and serves as the armor of the soul for the chaplain. The most common form of the Rosarius is a crux terminatus, richly embellished with gemstones and precious metals. Concealed inside it is the potent personal shield generator that symbolically bestows the blessed prayers of protection from the faithful for their champions to triumph in battle against evil. The position of a chaplain was created during the Great Crusade in the early 31st millennium by the edicts of the Council of Nicaea, an imperial conclave that was called on the world of Nicaea to determine whether the use of psychic powers represented a benefit or a grave danger to mankind and the newborn Imperium of man. After the emperor rendered his decree absolute in regards to the use of psychers, the Space Marine legions were instructed to abolish their Librarius division. The Emperor had decreed that henceforth no legion was to employ psychers in battle, nor were they to continue their studies into the mysteries of psychic talents. Those legions who had librarians were instructed to reassign them to standard fighting units and to forbid the use of their abilities. First Lord of Terra, Malcador the Sigillite, leader of the Council of Terra, was not satisfied that all the legions would follow the Emperor's edict. Malcador knew that many of the Primarchs placed great value on their librarians and the power they could unleash on the battlefield. For some of the legions, the deployment of psychers had become central to their strategies and tactics. He resolved to find a way to ensure these legions obeyed the Emperor and observed the psyker band. His thoughts turned to Lorgar and the Wordbearer Legion. While the Emperor worked his secret labors in the palace's vaults, Malcador the Sigillite issued a new edict through the Council of Terra in the name of the Emperor. This was the Order of Observance, more commonly known as the Chaplains Edict, and its inspiration was the Wordbearers Legion. The Wordbearers Primarch, Lorgar, had been raised on the cult world of Colis. Lorgar had introduced officer clerics to his legion. These warrior priests were named chaplains, and their role was to minister to the needs of the Space Marines and ensure that their faith in the Emperor was strong. Wordbearer chaplains had exalted the virtues and divinity of the Emperor of Mankind to every world that the 17th Legion brought into Imperial compliance. Though this was a violation of the secular imperial truth that ultimately resulted in the castigation of the 17th Legion at the world of Kur, setting them on the path to betray the Emperor. Nevertheless, Malcador ordered the other Space Marine Primarchs to appoint chaplains who would ensure the spiritual well-being of their legion and enforce the Psyker Ban. These officers were to be picked from the Space Marines who were the most steadfast in their duties, and who demonstrated the strongest loyalty to their Primarch and the Emperor. Most of the Primarchs loyally followed the edict and began to appoint officers to the rank and duty of chaplain. Some did not. Lorgar was quite amused by the irony of the new edict. This legion had already secretly fallen to the ruinous power. Given the oddity of communication across the vastness of the galaxy, it would not have seemed unusual or suspicious to Malcador that none of the Primarchs had voiced their consent to the edict immediately. It was also certain that some of the Primarchs behaved deceitful, and while they assured him that they were doing as the Emperor had ordered, they were not. In time, with the outbreak of the Horus Heresy, their dishonesty became clear. The esteemed position of the chaplain would later change to become one of spiritual and moral leadership in the centuries after the Horus Heresy, as the Imperium's culture became increasingly centered on the worship of the Emperor. Black is the official color of the chaplain's power armor, both by tradition and as an outline in the Codex Astartes. However, over the millennia of the Age of the Imperium, Space Marine chapters often incorporate their own colors and insignia into the chaplain's armor, resulting in a wide variety of basic color schemes. Many of these changes come about as a result of a chaplain repairing his armor from the available resources while on a campaign. Some modifications are later adopted permanently for all the chaplains with a given chapter. Hybrid power armor schemes can also appear if the chaplain dons archaic power armor patterns kept by the chapter since the time of the Great Crusade or the Horus Heresy as a relic. Of course, apart from the organization they belong to, chaplains themselves have a long lifespan, so there is plenty of time for them to stamp their own personality into their armor. In battle, the chaplains are frequently found where the fighting is fiercest. They can be seen chanting the chapter's battle creeds, ministering to the fallen, and granting absolution to the dead. They are also Astartes, which means that they fight with as much savagery as any of their brothers, praising the Emperor through the destruction of his enemies. They rejoice in the glorious act of war, and inspire their battle brothers to ever greater deeds of bravery and devotion. They fight alongside their battle brothers, reciting extracts from the chapter's creed. Indeed, their dedication adds considerably to the fearsome reputation of the Space Marines. Their inspirational sayings and constant exhortations hardens the determination of every Astarte to serve the Emperor and relive the former glories of the chapter's Primarch. The bond between Space Marines and their chaplain is a strong one. Chaplains preside over each Battle Brothers indoctrination as a recruit. They teach loyalty to the chapter and reinforce its precepts through rituals and ceremonies, and perform inspiring acts of valor upon the field of battle. Within each fortress monastery of the Adeptus Astartes, or primary battle barge, lies a central shrine known as a reclusium. The reclusium is greatly revered as a sacred place for the chapter's Astartes, and contains precious relics drawn from the chapter's history, fragments of armor from the fallen champions of the chapter, blessed weaponry that had drunk deep of the blood of the heretic, the Xenos and the Demon in millennium past, and their captured banners and shattered icons of defeated foes. In the reclusium, the sonorous voice of the Battle Brothers are raised in honor of the Primarchs and the Emperor. Amongst these relics of the past glories, the chaplain resides on the sacred duty and the virtues of service to the greater glory of the Emperor. These ceremonies are carried out under the guidance of the chaplain with the rank of Reclusiarch, and his superior, the Master of Sanctity, who is the spiritual head of the chapter. Only these two ranks of chaplain serve the spiritual needs of the entire chapter, as all other chaplains are attached to individual companies. Chaplains also teach that the time of prayer and worship is not only within the reclusium, but also the battlefield, where the roar of Bolter is the loudest, and where the fires of righteous fury burn the brightest. Space Marines can exercise their most sacred duty and give praise to the Emperor with the slaughter of his enemies. The importance of faith in the Space Marines is further reinforced in the company's chapel. All 10 companies within each Codex Astartes compliant chapter have their own chapel where Battle Brothers can observe the rites of the chapter and those special to their own company. Here the worship is supervised by one of the Reclusiarch's subordinate company chaplains. It is the chaplain, living and fighting alongside the Battle Brothers, who are responsible for the spiritual health of every Astarte in the company. And those were 40 facts on the chaplain. If you guys want to find out what a Space Marine has to do in order to become a chaplain, please subscribe to the channel, because part 2 is going to be going over that, as well as more information. So don't forget to like, comment, and share. By you guys sharing this video on Twitter, Facebook, it really helps out the channel. It helps us continue to put out more videos. It's becoming pretty hard to put out 2 videos a day. We're probably going to have to cut back at some point, but if you guys share the videos, if you guys get the message of One Mind Syndicate out there, we might be able to keep it this way, and we might be able to add on some more lore. We want to do fantasy lore, but we need your help. Please like, comment, and share. If you guys have any suggestions for other Warhammer 40k topics, comment down below. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.